Newton Faulkner, the Brit Award-nominated singer, reveals the best place for an airport delay, the cultural desert of East London, and the most terrifying moment of his life. I love sharing moments with random people. Traveling has taught me that people are fascinating and surprisingly nice, such as in Copenhagen earlier this week, where I chatted to strangers at a quirky vintage shop called So last year about the musical connections in their families. A colorful outdoor cafe in Copenhagen credited AP the happiest person I've ever met was a man in Jamaica who owns this tiny bar on stilts in the middle of the sea, called the Pelican Bar. It's unbelievably peaceful, surrounded by crystal blue waters, and you can only just about see the land from the bar. In different pockets of the world I have local spots, like in Indianapolis in the US, where I always go for a wet shave at Red's Classic Barbershop. Hamburg has a funky feel and an instantly recognizable vibe, with loads of graffiti and skateboards on the streets. It's a different kind of cool from what you get in party-centric Berlin, and you won't need to stay out till 4 a.m. to have a good time. The re-urban area of Hamburg, known for its nightlife, credit Getty. I'm aware of how crazy I can be, but the last holiday I did was completely on my own to a remote summer holiday village on the coast of Tønsberg near Oslo in Norway in the dead of winter last November. When it was around 5 I was all alone, with literally no one around, and I loved it. Scotland is the most beautiful place in the world and most relaxing for me. I love the prehistoric, unapologetically rugged feel of the landscape, with massive eye-shaped holes along mountains and yellow moss crawling up jagged peaks. 31 reasons why we love Scotland. The best nights of my life have been in Tokyo, which is the closest thing to being on another planet. I love to just wander around its streets, where you can see everything from Buddhist temples to alleys with hundreds of tiny bars, one of my favorites being Hemel a random Belgian place. Tokyo by night credit Lori Noble. Nashville is ridiculously cool, and the best city for music lovers. The best musicians you'll ever see are usually sat just on the corner of cafes, casually playing the most amazing music, anything from country rock to jazz. Nashville credit this content is subject to copyright. Donita Delhi. Mumbai is overwhelmingly fascinating, with the most incredible food everywhere you go, from street food to Thai tea, made with all sorts of amazing unique spices. Japan has the world's most unique restaurants, such as the Ninja Akasaka in Tokyo, where a ninja drops silently from the ceiling by the entrance to serve you a menu before you are led to your table. The showmanship there is extraordinary, with sushi being served on a bamboo forest tower with loads of dry ice on the bottom. 22 weird and wonderful things about Japan. I live in the cultural desert of East London, that is Bo, where I have to get on a train to get a proper cup of coffee. I'm not really a club or pub guy, but London is an amazing city for nightlife, and I like going out in the cool bits of East London, like Hackney. Malmaison hotels have such a kinky vibe, with dark and velvet decor. I especially like the one in Glasgow. A restaurant at Malmaison Glasgow credits default Adrienne Houston. The most terrifying moment of my life was on a flight to Shetland on a tiny plane with about 20 passengers. I've never been more certain of my impending death as the plane flew sideways against harsh winds. My life flashed before my eyes around 9 times for 30 or so minutes of terror. If you have to have an airport delay, I recommend Singapore Changi, where I was once delayed for 12 hours. I spent the entire night at its amazing rooftop bar. Everything you need to know about the world's greatest airport. I splash water on the back of my neck after a flight to freshen up, and also try to breathe in steam to rehydrate my lungs, even if it only means turning the kettle on and keep the lid off for a bit in your hotel room. I travel with all kinds of strange items, like a frying pan and plug-in hob with me on tour. Being able to cook wherever you are in the world is so normalizing. Newton Faulkner. Favorite travel accessories. I love being in the mountains, so I'd love to spend more time in rural Canada, as well as Scandinavia. I find Russia weirdly fascinating and want to see it one day too. Moraine Lake in Banff National Park in Canada credit Lubomir Chudoba hit the ground running. Newton Faulkner's new album is out now. See NewtonFaulkner.com. Interview by Sue Kim.